Another virus spreading across China is raising alarms. Joining me to talk about HMPV is Dr. Amish Adalja with the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security. Welcome to Houston's Morning Show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, you probably have seen this too. A lot of chatter online. People concerned this is the next COVID, so to speak. Can you explain what it is and how they compare?
So this is a little bit puzzling to me because human metapneumovirus is a virus that's been infecting humans for hundreds of years. It was first described in 2001. It's not something new. It occurs every year all over the world, and most humans, including those in the United States, are infected by the age of 5. So I think this is a case of kind of overreaction and panic based on the fact that this occurred in China and some sensationalistic media. And this is not anything that's out of the ordinary. This is something that we deal with year in and year out. We've just never called it human metapneumovirus. It's just one of the many viruses that can cause common cold-like illnesses.
Oh, that's a huge relief, I think, for everybody to hear, which is why we get experts like you on here. Because like you said, if you go to an urgent care, they'll just tell you have a virus. You don't hear the name of it typically. So let's talk more about what people can expect if they get that. It sounds like maybe just the typical cold-like symptoms versus something more severe like the flu.
It's usually cold-like symptoms in most people. Obviously, those who are immunocompromised, those who are elderly, who have underlying heart and lung conditions can have a worse episode with it. But for most people, this is something that is indistinguishable from any other common cold-like illness. And yes, we get upsurges in it every year, and China seems to be having an upsurge, but it isn't even the most dominant virus in China right now. That's influenza. And with human metapneumovirus, we don't have any vaccines yet. There are vaccines in development, so it may be something in the past if these vaccine trials are successful.
Let's talk about prevention. That's always the key to staying healthy this time of year. What are just some simple things we can all do to hopefully avoid getting any type of virus?
So it's the same thing that we've kind of gotten used to for COVID. So that's hand washing, that's covering your mouth when you cough. That's if you're sick and you have to go out. Wearing a mask is important so you don't infect other individuals. So there's those tools that you can use, but we're in the midst of respiratory virus season, so it's very hard to avoid any of the dozen or so viruses that are circulating. And also making sure you're up to date with your influenza vaccines, and if you're high risk, your COVID vaccines as well.
Is typical treatment just what we always get for a virus? A lot of rest, maybe extra liquids? Over the counter.
Right. For something like human metapneumovirus, it's going to be symptomatic treatment, things like acetaminophen, ibuprofen, naproxen, as well as fluids, and making sure that you're well rested during that period of time. There's not specific antivirals for human metapneumovirus, although there are specific antivirals for COVID and influenza.
All right, Dr. Adalja, thank you again for taking time. I love just to put any fears to rest for our viewers, and you certainly did that for us today. Appreciate your time.
Thanks.